Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Aquarius for November 2015. I am trying on a new format where I'm doing a separate general astrology for all signs that talk about the influences astrologically that are affecting all signs. And then I'm doing a separate drill down into each sign that stays just focused on what is different and specific for that sign. So you definitely want to watch for your sun sign, for your rising sign, and the general astrology reading on my website. So look for November 2015 Astrology, Annie Botticelli, after you're done with this video. Go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, where you can see more about my growing list of self-development tools that I have made very accessible for you. Also, you could look into having a personal session with me or one of my apprentices, my growing list of apprentices that are ready to assist you. And while you're there, definitely sign up for my free email newsletter, which makes you part of my community and gives you all kinds of perks. So let's talk about what we're going to do here with this drill down into the different signs. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know that I tried to cover the general astrology and the specific astrology in each video. So I'm separating it out now to try to make it a little more coherent and a little bit more easy to understand. So I'm going to be using what I call a 5-point system, where we talk about the planets or heavenly bodies that are closest to us, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and see what they're doing in this period of time and how that's going to affect our lives, what opportunities we have, what challenges we have, how to maximize the energy. So first let's start with the sun. The sun represents this vibrant energy, this light that is like a spotlight. It brings focus to areas, it brings attention to areas. Sometimes it brings resolution, sometimes it shows up problems, but it's like this giant spotlight, similar to how when you may turn on a big spotlight in an attic, you see lots of stuff there that's like, ooh, I kind of got to deal with that. And then sometimes you find treasures. So that's what the energy of the sun is. So as it moves through the 12 houses, or these 12 fields of experience that we have as humans, it's this moving spotlight in just different sections of our lives. So for Aquarius, all of you are going to have the experience of this sun spotlight in the 9th house. And the 9th house is the house that's ruled by Sagittarius. It's the energy of teaching, of learning, of big ideas, of international relations, of speaking and writing and communicating. Also different languages and different cultures, and also religion and philosophy and theology, and just the areas of study that ask really big questions and talk about general things that supersede other more drilled down things of our experience. You know, it's like the bigger picture. So the sun is moving through this house, and maybe some topics of education or learning or research are happening. You might find yourself very scattered or interested in a lot of different topics at this time, because that's the nature of Sagittarius. It's kind of all over the place. It goes in this upward spiral. So when the sun is there, where you shine at that time is in looking into all these different things and becoming interested in all these different things and researching all these different things. To further support that energy, all of you at some point in the month will have Mercury moving through the 9th house. You later degree placements will start out November with Mercury still in the 8th house, and then it will later move into the 9th house. But all of you at some point will have this energy of the bringer of information, the sharing of information, moving into this 9th house. So there's, wherever Mercury is, it's very busy, it's fast moving, it's fast thinking. It's the energy of information going out. It's the energy of information coming in. Sometimes the information coming in is through research. Sometimes it's through news or information that comes to you. But in any case, it rules information, and it also rules mobility, like where you're bringing your physical body. So Mercury in the 9th house, very agile, very into big questions at that period of time. So for you later degree placements where you still have Mercury in the 8th house, you might still have focus on shared finances, debt, credit, loans, inheritances, spousal money, deep esoteric topics of psychology and mysteries. Those are all 8th house energies, or topics of collaboration, things like that. Money, sex, and power is also our big tagline of the 8th house. So you still have some lingering energy in those questions. And we've got the sun moves through each house for about a month each year. So wherever it is, it hasn't been there for a year and it's not going to be there for another year. So you've got this small period of time where that energy is just finely tuned and there's special areas of focus at that period of time. So you want to maximize your focus at that time in that area. Okay, then we've got Venus, and for all of you early degree placements and some of you middle degree placements, Venus is going to be in the 8th house. For the rest of you middle degree placements and you late degree placements, you're going to have Venus in the 7th house, eventually getting into the 8th house. But all of you either are going to have or will soon have Venus moving through the 8th house. And what does that look like? I always think of Venus as my grandmother, Marge, my Italian grandmother, who would run up passionately and kiss me on my mouth and slip me money and maybe give me something pretty. Right? So that's the nature of Venus, is it rules affection and love and harmony and money. You know, it makes sure you're well fed. You know, the first thing that she would do is say, you're too skinny, and she'd shove meatballs in my mouth. You know, like the sensual, just taking care of the needs and the, you know, just showering with affection. That's the energy of Venus. So you're going to hear me continue to refer to Venus energy as the energy of my grandma Marge, because that so much encapsulates what Venus is doing. So then the question in the horoscope then is, where is Venus doing its thing that it does? And that has to do with the field of experience, which is based on the house. So now Grandma Marge is basically, for all of you, in the house, one of the 2 houses of relationships. The 7th and the 8th houses are very much related that way, because the 7th house is the house of relationships, just the nature of your one-on-one relationships, client relationships, business relationships, romantic relationships, important personal relationships. Then the 8th house is those relationships, but deeper and with resources. So all of you, whether Venus is in the 7th or 8th house, has this harmony, has this balance, has this money, has this attention to aesthetics and pretty things in your house of relationships. So many people will report, if they're paying attention, that more harmony comes to these places, where it's like a little blissful spot where Venus is cruising through there, and it's like, wow, that's really cool. Some people will have a person of consequence, I call them, come into their lives when Venus is there. Now, unless Venus is linking with something else long term, that could be a fleeting thing, just like a little boost to your romantic sector, or a little money coming in through your spouse's family or through something, you know, that's the nature of Venus. It brings these things wherever it is. So then we've got the energy of Mars, and Mars is our busy border collie energy. I always think of border collies when I think of Mars, because they're busy and they're active and they're hypervigilant and they're super focused, and there's just a lot of energy around wherever Mars is. And wherever Mars is, and for, again, this is the 7th and 8th house being highlighted, whether you're early, middle, or late degree placement. Early degree placements and some middle degree placements have Mars moving through the 8th house. Some middle degree placements and the rest of the late degree placements still have Mars moving through the 7th house. But the indications are pretty much the same for the 7th and 8th house, which the main focus, what I see as a main focus, is focusing on win-win relationships, because Mars energy can get so energized that it can turn into fighting. So you could find more fighting or warring. Mars is the god of war, with Mars in that placement, but it doesn't have to be that way. You're not doomed to it, and that's not the highest expression. And again, I think about my border collies when I think of this. When I walk them separately, they're fine. When I walk them together, the one aggravates the other so much that they start barking and nipping at each other. That's what happens with Mars energy, is when it's not properly conducted or directed, it turns into agitation and can turn into arguments. But having Mars move through your house as a partnership is the best time in 2 years, for another 2 years, to work on projects in a win-win way, to cooperate with somebody, to work together on something. So that's the kind of energy that you want to capitalize in November. The new moon on November 11th is happening at 19 degrees of Scorpio. For you early degree placements, this is happening in the 10th house. New openings in career and work and life purpose, perhaps things involving authority figures or father figures, father energies. The rest of you are having this new moon happen in the ninth house, but even you early placements could have a manifestation in the ninth house. And again, the ninth house, like we talked about with the Sun and Mercury moving through there, is this energy of expansion and teaching and learning and education. At the new moon, we both simultaneously have the energy of a new window opening in that field of experience. And then we also have optimum seed planting time in that field of experience. So if you make your new moon wishes based on the energies that the house that the new moon is occurring for you, and also the sign, then they'll go further. So the more you focus your wishes on Scorpio related things, which we talked about what those are, and Sagittarius related things, and for you early degree placements, some Capricorn related things, your wishes can carry further. So the full moon is going to happen on November 25th, and the early and middle placements are going, or some middle, are going to experience this full moon in the fourth house of home, of family, of real estate ventures. And full moons bring a coming to completion, a coming to fruition. Sometimes they bring drama, sometimes they bring the need for focus on something. Sometimes they bring just a happy manifestation of something you've been waiting for, you know? So they're not always bad. They could be emotional in a positive way where you're so happy and welled up with the completion or coming to fruition of something. So the focus here again is on the home, some kind of concentration on the home, some attention needed on home or family energy. For some of you, this will be a psychological issue because the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses, these water houses, have to do with the psychology of our experience, and usually things stemming from childhood, specifically with the 4th house. So then you late degree placements, some of you are going to actually, okay, so earlier I said early and middle, and some middle are going to have this in the 4th house. All of the early and middle degree placements are going to have this in the 4th house. Some of you late degree placements are going to have it in the 3rd house. And the 3rd house has to do with your transportation, your vehicles, your devices, the ways that you communicate, communication patterns, transportation, communication. And also has to do with relatives that are not your parents or kids, although those energies could come in through the 4th house, but specifically the 3rd house has to do with everything Gemini, social situations, things like that. And sometimes your actual mobility, like your capacity to move around physically. So some kind of drama or completion or wholeness or coming to fruition can be seen in the 3rd house for you some of you late degree placements. So definitely check out my video, November 2015 Astrology for all signs, because there's so much sweetness in the stars in the month of November. It's just like almost surprising. And I go into much more detail about that and how to maximize it in that video. So really this reading is not complete without also watching that video. I'm trying on this format to see how well it works. I'm hoping that you take the time to do both because I think that you can more clearly understand the general transits and the specific transits by my doing it this way. But I want to make sure that you do listen to both, otherwise you're going to be missing a piece of the picture. Definitely go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, where you can see more about my growing list of self-development tools and resources. And one of those is signing up for my free email newsletter, where I will share things with you, including a monthly write-up of the upcoming astrological month, going into some different details than I go into in the videos, and also where you have a written version of the key highlights that are coming up. So check those things out. Check out my subliminal recordings that help to train your brain. Check out my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, which is available on a sliding scale and helps you to shine your light into the world. And you can see more about my personal coaching and my growing list of apprentices to help you. So I hope you have a wonderful November and take care.